Hey everybody, it's Dave from the Cali Endurance Squad, and today we're going to be talking about the draft, the NFL draft that just took place. It was 3 days of just I think no matter what, I think that you'd be happy with what your team did. You're feeling like if your team was bad last year, that maybe they'll improve this year. And then you think if you're a good team, you're thinking that, you probably put in pieces there that might just help you win, especially if you're a team like Philadelphia that had like two first-round draft picks. They had the 10th overall pick and the 30th pick or whatever it was. So, if you're Philadelphia, you're probably feeling pretty good about yourselves. But we're going to start off with a shout out. So what I'm thinking is what we're going to start doing is we're going to, with every live stream, we're going to do one shout out. And today's shout out, you can see it's on the comments right there. Please click on it. Hey, God is great. How are you doing, my friend? How's everything in Japan? So the shout out goes to J+K Retro Gaming. He's at 683 subscribers. I'm like, this guy does pretty much everything. I'm like, he opens up Lego. He builds Lego. He builds custom Lego. Oh my goodness gracious, storms! Oh, that's not good at all. He plays retro great games. So he plays like NES games, SNES games, and he plays them for like 5 minutes. Hey, Spinetix, how's it going? Go Kings and go Lightning. Yes, sirree. Jordan would disagree with that because he's cheering for Edmonton. But go Lightning. Down 1-0 right now. But they're we'll see. One more period left. Maybe they can get a goal. Hopefully they can get 2 goals to win the game, but we will have to see. So J+K Retro Gaming, they like I said, they open up cards, they open up baseball cards, football cards. They collect just like God is great. They collect Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. T-Law. He collects T-Law cards. And also opens up Lego, plays retro games. He'll play a game for like 5 minutes, and then he'll come back and he'll rank it. He'll rank the game all over again, which is super cool. Always a lot of fun. So, please go check them out. Spinetix, if you're still here, I'm going to show off the card that I bought. So in every live stream, I'm going to one live stream a week. What I'm going to do, probably on the Saturday, I'm going to buy a card from it might be more than one card sometimes, but this time it's one card. I bought this on my LCS, and it is an Evgeny Malkin. Let me I'll just show that. I think So, oops, there we go. So we got an Evgeny Malkin. I'll open it up from here. I'm like, if you see, I'm like, it's a pretty thick card right there. Pretty sweet. So this is from 2018-19. There's the back of the card. So congratulations. You've received a trading card with Evgeny Malkin game-used hockey memorabilia that has been certified to the Upper Deck Company as having been used in an official NHL game. We hope you enjoy this piece of hockey history as we continue to keep you as close as you can get. There we go. Evgeny Malkin. I love Sidney Crosby, but I love Evgeny Malkin just as much. I have so much respect for this dude, and this guy can play hockey. So in this season, he had 71 goals, 51 assists for 72 points. He's had, in 13 NHL seasons, ending in 2019, he's had 391 goals, 611 points, 1,002 points. So obviously he has improved since then, or not improved, but it's a nice little 3-color patch as well. So there we go. That is the pickup of the day. Okay, so I think we're just going to start off with Arizona Cardinals, and we're just going to go alphabetically from there. So who did Arizona need? They needed a defensive end. They needed a defensive tackle. They needed a cornerback. They needed a running back. They needed an offensive guard. Did they get any of this stuff? They did pick up in the first round, 6th overall. They picked up Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle from Syracuse. He's 6'6", 315 pounds. So he's a big load. He's a big boy. So he's a guy that you can start right off the hop, and he can play the tackle position. He can play the guard position. But he's going to be the one guy. He's going to be protecting if Kyler Murray is the guy. If Kyler Murray is the guy, then Paris Johnson Jr. will be protecting him probably the next 5 to 10 years. But Kyler Murray might not be the guy. I'm like, there's a chance that he could be gone in the next year or two. Who knows? But Paris Johnson Jr., good first pick for the Arizona Cardinals. The second pick was an outside linebacker from Syracuse, and I can't even read my own writing. BJ Ojewants. So he's an outside linebacker from Syracuse in the second round. Hopefully, he'll be the guy that will be taking over JJ Watt, because they lost a lot with JJ Watt. And outside linebackers right now are basically defensive ends. They're going to be going after the quarterback, and that's what JJ Watt did, right? So they're hoping that he could possibly step in and take over. The next pick was in the third round. They picked up Michael Wilson from Stanford, a wide receiver. With a lot of these guys, it's kind of like a wait and see game, right? I'm like, will he be a wide receiver? The one thing about these wide receivers this year I found out is that they're small. I'm like, they're 5'9", 5'10", 5'11". There wasn't many tall ones, especially the top ones. And we'll just see how the wide receiver class. There is no stud right now that's standing out. But a lot went in the first round. This kid did not go in the first round, but we'll have to see. The fourth round, they picked John Gaines II, offensive guard from UCLA. They needed a guard. Not drinking enough milk. Exactly. These kids these days, they're not drinking enough milk. Actually, and they're light too. I'm like, a lot of them were like 195 to like 200, 205. I'm like, really, really strange. So in the fourth round, they got their offensive guard that they wanted. So right now they already have a decent line as well, but they're picking up some tackles, some guards, and we'll just have to, we'll see. Will Arizona be able to take the leap in the next year? I'm like, they're going to be up against Seattle. They're going to be up against San Francisco. They're going to be up against the Rams. I'm like, they're definitely probably better than the Rams. Are they better than San Francisco? Oh, I don't know about that. Are they better than oh my gosh. What was the other team I said? Arizona, San Francisco. Oh man. The next pick was in the 6th round, and it was Keitrell Clark. He's a cornerback from Louisiana. Again, in the 6th round, Brock Purdy going to lead the Niners back to glory. That's a definite possibility for sure. Brock Purdy, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for my boy to come on this live stream. So we'll have to see about that. They also had they had no 7th round picks, but they had 2 6th round picks. So the other one was Dante Stills, defensive tackle. And so actually, sorry, I missed the quarterback. I missed a 5th-round draft pick. They picked up Clayton. I did this one in the dark, and I can barely read my own writing. Let me see. Let me go to where I found it. And then I will Arizona. Okay, so they picked up Clayton Tune, a quarterback from Houston, okay? Now, he is the he's a great nephew to the Cardinals' very first overall pick, okay? So there's some history there. So he was the great nephew. So the very first overall pick was a guy named, and so this was when they were the Chicago Cardinals. They took Jim Lawrence 5th overall in 1936, which was also their first, the NFL's first draft. Lawrence played 3 seasons and part of the 1939 season with the Cardinals before moving to the Green Bay Packers. So there is definitely some history there. And, will this kid be able to take over? Who knows? But, we'll just have to see. And like I said, J.J. Watt retiring, their defense is going to suffer a little bit. Oh, the Lightning did tie it 1-1. Let's go. Let's go, Lightning. All right. So that's Arizona. I'm like, Arizona, they picked up players to protect their quarterback. They got some help in the outside linebacker. They picked up a quarterback that they can, he's not going to start next year. Probably not going to start in 2 years. But hey, who knows? The kid played in Houston, so he has a really good arm. So yeah, we'll just have to see what happens there. We're going to go to Atlanta next. Atlanta, what did they need? They needed defensive ends. They needed wide receivers, cornerbacks, possibly a quarterback, and a DT. So their first overall pick was Bijan Robinson. Hey, Big Chief Sports Cars, how's it going? I'm going with the Bills pretty soon, actually, because I am doing this alphabetically, and I'm excited about the Bills draft picks this year. So just wait for the Bills. I'm super excited for the Bills. All right, so Atlanta, I'm kind of excited about Atlanta as well. I'm like, they picked up possibly the best player in the draft, and that is Bijan Robinson. But he's 5'11", 215 from Texas. But the only problem is they already have Cordell Patterson. They already have a rookie last year, Tyler Allgeier. They combined for 1,730 yards last year. I'm like, but Bijan Robinson is a generational talent. I'm super excited for this. And I think when you have a player like that, you got to pick him. You got to pick him. And he fell all the way to the number 8 spot. And if I'm Atlanta, I'm super excited for that. He's an excellent runner. He's not the greatest. He's not the greatest pass protector, but I'm like, he's an offensive stud, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. So, Bijan Robinson, good pick for the Atlanta. So their second pick was Matthew Bergeron, and I believe this kid is Canadian. He's an offensive guard from Syracuse. He's a 6'5", 318 pounds. Their third round pick was Zach Hennison from Ohio State. Defensive end, 6'6", 274 pounds. This kid has a high ceiling and definitely will have a good chance of actually starting in the NFL next year. He didn't have the greatest stats in Ohio State, but I'm like, this kid has a high ceiling. He's a big kid, 6'6". I'm like 274 pounds for a defensive end, and he can run, chase down defenders. A pretty decent pick. They also picked in the 4th round Clark Phillips III from Utah, cornerback, 5'9". That 6'9" would be huge. Imagine 6'9". That's Madden. That's when you're making players from Madden. He's 5'9", 184. They had 2 7th round picks. They had DeNarco Helens from Alabama, a safety, 6'1", 203. And the other one was Jovan Vaughn, offensive guard from South Carolina. In the 7th round, what you're looking for is, players that, will add depth to your team. So, so you're going to be training these guys to see where they are. And, when the big boys get hurt, you want to, have them at least ready to step up and probably become the backup at some point in time and eventually starter. All right, so that was Atlanta. If I was going to rank the two, I'm like Arizona. I think Arizona did what they needed to do, probably a solid B+. Atlanta, I like what they did. They didn't get a wide receiver that they needed. They got a quarterback, but later in the draft they got a quarter. They did not get a quarterback, and they did not get a DT. But I'm like Bijan Robinson, like I said, generational talent. You got to give them an A for sure. So Baltimore, they needed wide receivers, cornerbacks, outside linebackers, quarterbacks, and DTs. Their first pick, 23rd overall, was Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers, 5'9", 182 pounds from Boston College. They already picked up Odell Beckham Jr., Nelson Aguilar, and they already have Rashad Bateman. But Odell Beckham obviously coming off a major injury. Rashad Bateman also coming off a major injury. So we'll see where they are. Nelson Aguilar is, he's there sometimes. I'm like, he's great at times, and then he is just, drops balls all the time. Like in Philadelphia, that was his issue, was dropping balls. But then kind of, recreated himself in New England. And so adding Zay Flowers is not going to hurt. Zay Flowers is probably going to be a starter on this team right off the hop. So I'd say that's a good pick for them. Their number 3 pick was Trenton Simpson, 6'2", 235 pounds from Clemson. He's an inside linebacker, so he'll be, he'll fit in nicely with Patrick Queen and the boys in the defense. 4th, they picked up Tevius Robinson, outside linebacker from Ole Miss. This kid is 6'6", 257 pounds. He sets the edge. He's explosive. He should be a good player on that team. He should make the team right off the hop. And hopefully his career will have an upward trajectory. Their 5th round pick was Caillou Blue Kelly cornerback from Stanford, 6'0", 177 pounds. Actually, it's funny because what I found is that the cornerbacks seem to be taller than the wide receivers in this draft. So coming up in the next few years, I'm like, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the offensive game, especially if you're having smaller wide receivers. In the 6th round, they picked Malasala. I can't even say the name, but he was an offensive tackle from Oregon, 6'6", 317. And the 7th, they picked up Andrew Varghese, 6'6", 310. He tore his ACL in the combine, so he's probably not going to play this year that often. Maybe later in the season, but he's probably a guy that you're going to probably see next year. Yeah. So that was Baltimore. I don't know. I'm like, Zay Flowers, good pick. They needed a wide receiver. That's what they got. I don't even know. I'm like, it's probably a solid B draft for them. Not spectacular, but we'll see where it goes. This next one, Buffalo Bills. I'm super excited for the Buffalo Bills. Especially, I like this draft class a lot. So they needed an inside linebacker, they needed a wide receiver, they needed a linebacker, and they needed a DT. First overall, what do? They had the 26th pick. Well, there's a kid named Dalton Kincaid, who's out there. I believe he played in Utah. 6'4", 246 pounds, can catch the ball. Did they need a tight end? No, because they signed their current tight end to a 4-year deal. Hey, Zach, how's it going, my friend? Hey, if anyone wants to come on, I did post the invite up top. Come on in and let's talk. Let's talk some NFL football, some NFL draft. Definitely. Comparing him to Travis Kelce, very much so. Like this kid, I'm like, when you have him at the number 26 spot and you can pick him up, that's another weapon for Josh Allen. That's a huge weapon. 6'6", 246. He can catch the ball. And you're pairing him. I'm like he's a starter right off the hop. He's gonna be him and Dawson Knox. I'm like they'll be able to go into like 2 tight end formations. The only weaknesses in his game is probably the blocking. He's not the greatest blocker, but I'm sure that he'll learn how to do what he needs to do because he's more going to be a vertical receiving threat than anything else. So they did pick up Dalton Kincaid in the second round. I can't even read my writing here. So Buffalo, let's see, Buffalo Bills. Let's go to Buffalo. All right, so Dalton Kincaid. In the second round, they picked Osiris Torrance, offensive guard. So they got a kid that can start pretty much right away if they need him to protect Josh Allen. And this kid is big. I'm like, they went big in this draft. This kid is 6'5", 330 pounds from Florida. Definitely a starter right off the hop. Definitely, yeah. And the third pick, they picked an inside linebacker, a steal, if I say so myself. Dorian Williams. He's 6'1", 228 pounds, from Tulane University, and he's a middle linebacker. They have Matt Milano, who made the Pro Bowl last year, but they lost Tremaine Edmonds this year to the Bears. So this puts him in a spot to be able to start right off the hop, which I think that he'll be able to do. Yeah, I'm like, he's 228 is not big, but I think he'll be able to go coast to coast. Osiris Torrance, yeah. I'm like he is. He's a big boy that I think can pack a punch, and has a very I'm like he's an instant starter on that Buffalo Bills team. Their fifth pick. I'm excited for this guy too. They have Justin Shorter, also from Florida. But he's a wide receiver, but he is 6'4", 229 pounds. This kid is massive. And he's a threat. He's a threat vertically, which they don't have. They don't have the guy that is 6'4" and can run down, and run down straight, catching the ball. Now, from what it seems like, he's able to make the difficult catches, but sometimes he has the drops when it comes to the body catches and the shorter routes or whatever. But I'm like, hey, you're going to learn, and if he can make it, this guy could be another huge weapon for Josh Allen. Like when you're 6'4", 229. I'm like, that is like DK is a little bit bigger, but I'm like, if he could become like a DK Metcalf, can you imagine a DK Metcalf on this Buffalo Bills team? I'm like, and then, well, that's the one thing also, like now you're going to have Kincaid in the end zone, and you can possibly, if he makes it, like you can have Shorter at the back of the end zone, easy catches. Plus, you also have Dawson Knox, and we got a ton of wide receivers now. Plus, there's still the D-Hop. Yeah, I'm not sure if they'll get D-Hop now. But if they do get D-Hop as well, I'm like, this team, this team's going to be good. And the next two picks are just 7th round picks. We have Nick Brocker from Ole Miss. He's an offensive tackle. Offensive guard, but he's a small guard. I'm like, they went big for the first 4 picks, and then they went small for. I'm like 6'4", 305 from Ole Miss. Very small guy, and it seems like he has like small hands and some shorter arms. So I'm like, he's going to have to work. I'm like, he's going to have to come in and just be like, I'm making this team, and let's go. And their other one was Alex Austin from Oregon State at cornerback, another 6'1", 195-pound cornerback. So yeah, I think this was like an A+ draft for the Buffalo Bills. I'm like, you get one sure weapon in offense, another weapon that I'm excited about. That Josh Allen could use. He might take a little bit of time, might take a little bit of training or whatever, but I really like him. Their guard, so Kincaid, instant starter. Osiris Torrance, instant starter. Dorian Williams, I think, could become an instant starter. We'll have to see about that. Or he will make an impact during the season. Justin Shorter, I'm big on him, and I hope that he makes it, and I hope that he can do what, and just add another weapon to that Buffalo Bills team. If he does, I'm like, this team is, this team will compete with Kansas City for sure. And then the 2 7th round picks, you don't know what you're going to get with the 7th round picks. You just hope for depth. You hope that they can make the team. Some of them will make the team, some of them won't make the team, but it's the earlier picks, and the earlier picks was really, well done. So I'm kind of excited over this Buffalo Bills team. I'm not a Bills fan either, and if I'm saying that, then that's saying something. All right, so with that being said, let's go to the next. Oh, I'm not sure if you were here at the start there, Big Chief, but I did show off my latest. I'm going to be starting off these live streams with my latest pickups, and I did get a Evgeny Malkin. And the one thing I forgot to mention is it is numbered, and it's numbered 3 out of 15. So it's like a 3-color patch. Pretty sweet card. It's from 2018-19. And look at those stats in 13 seasons. He has over 1,000 yards. Zach, Sports Cards and Collectibles. I know that you're a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. I love Sidney Crosby. He is one of my favorite players. But another kid that I really like is this one right here, and that's Evgeny Malkin. But don't have one. I need one of his autographs for sure. That will come. That will come at some point. But yeah. Also, if you go to the very top of the chat, please check out J plus K Retro Gaming. Awesome channel. If you haven't already, go check out their stuff. He opens up cards. He opens up football cards. He opens up. I'll loan you one. Do you have a Evgeny Malkin autograph? That is so sweet. He's one guy that I definitely want to get. Sorry, I'm like J plus K Retro Gaming. he plays retro games. He opens up Lego. He opens up sports cars. All you need to know, everything that everyone likes to do. All right, so let's go to WVOG's team, and that, my friends, is the Carolina Panthers. We're going to start off with a 1-1 pick, and that is Bryce Young. What's the I think the quarterbacks in this, I think that we'll have a pretty good chase for the quarterbacks in this year's card sets. You're going to have Bryce Young. You're going to have C.J. Stroud. You're going to have Will Levis. You're going to have Anthony Richardson. You're going to have, you're going to have some other guys as well. Like I think Hooker. You definitely, Will has to be pumped for his. Exactly. And who's the other guy I'm thinking of? Stenson Benson. Your guy, Zach. I think. And the thing is, Benson, I'm not at the Rams yet, but Benson went to a good club that I'm like, if he could learn, he could be the starter next year. Maybe on a very bad Rams club, and who knows how long he'll be a starter. If he's good, he could possibly stay the starter, but if not, we'll see. But I'm like, Stafford's not going to want to stay there if they're going to be losing, and Stafford's going to want to win. Or will he retire? I'm like, he is getting older as well. But if I'm Tom Brady's 48, and we don't even know if he's really retired. But yeah, okay. So let's go back. So Bryce Young, 5'10", 204 pounds. Not much of a runner, but he's very good in the pocket. He can release and get out of pressure. But he's definitely a pocket passer first. And he did have a shoulder injury in the middle of the 2022 season. And he is a smaller dude. But I am excited. I'm excited about this kid. I've seen him. Everyone watched Alabama. Obviously, he played for Alabama. And he's a really good. He's a really good prospect. And should he have been number one or Stroud? I would have picked Stroud, but you can't go wrong with Bryce Young as well. So that pick, it's a good pick. I like it. Super pumped to see Steven and Stetson and Stafford playing together, two of the best Georgia Bulldog quarterbacks of all time. Exactly. And Stetson Benson won 2 natties in a row. So I'm like, that's pretty dang good. And then you go to their second pick, and they pick a wide receiver from Ole Miss, Jonathan Mingo. This kid could be good too. He's 6'2", 220 pounds. Ole Miss, they love their wide receivers. They love their tall wide receivers. That's where DK Metcalf came from. A.J. Brown, who's not as tall, but he came from there, and so did Dawson Knox. That was their wide receiving and tight end core in when did they come out? 2018, 19? Oh, my goodness. That was a team, I believe they beat Alabama. Or they came close to beating out. I forget what it was, but I'm like, that was an awesome team. But Mingo, he's a same. He's a big boy, 220. Definitely has a size, and he's good with the vertical ball as well. So we'll have to see. They have a quarterback and they have the wide receiver. Their third pick was DJ Johnson, outside linebacker from Oregon, 6'4", 260 pounds. He has the size and speed, and he should be, he could be a week 1 starter as well. Fourth, they picked Chandler Zavala, 6'3", 322 pounds from NC State, offensive guard. So you have a guard that's going to be able to protect your pass rush. And then the last pick, they only had 5 picks, was Jamie Robinson, safety from Florida State. This kid, 5'11", 191 pounds. Seems like he's going to be a good one. He's a tenacious and aggressive run defender who chases with great effort and rarely stays blocked despite his size. He struggles to recover once he gets caught out of phase, even though he's competitive matching up underneath. So I'm like, he's going to be one of those kids that, maybe in next 2 years, he might, maybe he'll be a starter. But I think right there, I'm like, I think you have 3 starters right off the hop. Obviously, Bryce Young, you have Jonathan Mingo, and you have DJ Johnson. And then we'll see. I'm not sure. So they needed, what did they need? Did they need a guard? They did need a guard. So the guard could be a starter as well. So they needed a quarterback, a wide receiver, a defensive end, inside linebacker, an offensive guard. They got 3 of those things. So, they're on their way. They are on their way. It'll be interesting. I'm like, how do you rank it? How do you rank it? I'm like, when you don't know, because it all depends on Bryce Young. Will Bryce Young be better than CJ Stroud? I'm like, it's definitely an A+. I'm like, they did what they needed to do. So we'll just hop on over to Chicago. They needed an offensive tackle, an outside linebacker, a DT, a cornerback, and a running back. The 10th overall pick, they picked Darnell Wright from Tennessee, offensive tackle. This kid, they said that there was like 6 to 7 offensive tackles that are like week 1 starters in the NFL. This kid was one of them. And he played for a Tennessee team that was really good. Like this Tennessee team, if it wasn't for Hooker's injury, I'm like, they could have been a playoff team, if not one of the major bowl contenders for sure. And this kid, 6'5", 333 pounds, from Tennessee. So he's a massive dude, and he definitely has the strength to be able to block off the defenders. So we'll see. He's definitely a week 1 starter. And will he play on the left side or will he play on the right side? We'll just have to see about that. But with the Bears, that's what they needed. They need someone to protect Justin Fields. Their second pick was Gervon Dexter, DT from Florida. He is 6'6", 310 pounds. Absolute another monster. So it'll be interesting to see. He'll be DTs. You want him to usually you get DTs to stop the run, not exactly to get sacks all the time, but definitely there to break up that offensive pass, and just go. And he's got the size, 6'6", 310. He'll be able to get into the backfield and wreak some havoc. If Tennessee was healthy, they could have beat Georgia. I wasn't going to say that, Zach, but Tennessee was a really good team this year or last year, and it would have been interesting if they could have stayed healthy. Then they had a second round pick, and they picked Tyreek Stevenson, a cornerback from Miami. 6'0", 198 pounds. He's another tall cornerback. There's 3 or 4 cornerbacks drafted so far at all these teams, and they're all like 6 foot and taller. So it will be interesting. He definitely projects as a starter going into week 1. Whether he plays like that corner, that slot corner, or whether he is an actual outside corner, we'll have to just see about that. But it should be interesting to see how much he improves that defense. In the 3rd round, they picked up Zach Pickens, another DT. This one is a little smaller, 6'4", 291 pounds. He's definitely more disruptive. So, like I said, it's not exactly the sacks. It's about how disruptive you can be. And, this kid definitely could get there. In the fourth round, they picked a running back. They picked up Rashawn Johnson from Texas, 6'0", 219 pounds. Texas had some good running games this year. So definitely will you'll probably be the number 2 or 3 running back, and then by next year could become the next could be at least the backup next year. In the fourth round, they picked up Tyler Scott from Cincinnati, wide receiver. And again, look, the wide receiver, 5'10", 177 pounds, small dude, a very small dude. But for what it seems like, he's the pre-draft analysis says that Scott is one of the more talented receivers in this class. He tracks the deep ball well and has a second gear to take the top off the coverage. He is an instinctive open field runner who is smooth turning upfield and pulls away from pursuit after the catch. Scott has a high ceiling as a route runner. So, take that with a grain of salt, but that could be a steal in the fourth round for them. In the fifth round, they picked Noah Sewell, 6'2", 246 pounds from Oregon. Sewell is has a low center of gravity and anchors well. He's a powerful striker between the tackles, and he stacks and sheds tight ends. Reads the quarterback and flashes above average ball skills and underneath coverage. Then the fifth round, they picked Terrell Smith, 6'1" cornerback, 204 pounds. And then they picked up Travis Bell and Kendall Williamson. Travis Bell's from Kennesaw State. He's a DT. And Kendall Williamson is a cornerback from Stanford. So, pretty decent. I think the Bears did pretty well. They needed help with their defense, and I think they got it. So let's go on over to the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals needed a cornerback, a tight end, running back, safety, and offensive guards. In the first round, they grabbed Miles Murphy, 6'5", 268 from Clemson. They then picked up DJ Turner from Michigan. Michigan had a really good season this year. So DJ Turner, he's 5'11", 178 from Michigan. In the third, they picked up Jordan Battle from Alabama. And Jordan Battle is so this was from a trade from Kansas City. He's 6'1", 209 pounds, and he's a safety. My college I work at played them in football. Oh, really? Kennesaw State Owls. I was gonna say because Kennesaw State is they're a smaller college, right? A Division II. Yeah. So the college you worked for played them in football. Okay. Where is Kennesaw State? Is Kennesaw State in Georgia? So Jordan Battle, I'm like he's a good safety. He'll be able to whether he'll be able to start next year or not, who knows? But they did get Jesse Bates III and Von Bell both left in free agency. The Bengals signed Nick Scott, and 2022 first-round pick Dax Hill has a chance to be good. So Battle doesn't need a start as a rookie, but he improves the depth chart and has the potential to develop into a starter earlier in his career. North suburbs of Atlanta. Oh, cool. 30 minutes from your house. Oh, awesome. In the fourth round, they picked Charlie Jones, Purdue wide receiver. 5'11", 175. I'm like, that's a small wide receiver. And it says, Jones is a savvy route runner who gets in and out of breaks without gearing down as an adept zone breaker. He has soft hands and reliable hands, and he transitions upfield effortlessly. Jones is quick and shows good open field instincts after the catch. So, potential there. But like I said, a lot of small receivers this year. A lot of small receivers. Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's where I learned about Kennesaw State. I think we were talking about that in one of the live streams that they did make the NCAA tournament this year. But did they lose in the first round, or did they actually win a game? In the fifth round, they picked up Chase Brown, a running back, Illinois, and the Bengals needed a running back because we don't know what's happening with Mixon. Mixon has gotten into some trouble, and I'm like, what would have been good if Bijan Robinson could have dropped to them? I'm like, that probably would have been the best part for them. They should have picked him up right away, but they lost. Okay, I thought so. So Brown is an efficient runner who has the patience and foot speed to press the line of scrimmage. He gets second-level defenders to commit and then bounce into an open gap. He runs hard, powers through arm tackles, and bounces off defenders. Brown has big hands, looks the ball in, and flashes after the catch. So this is a kid, that they can groom into the next starting running back. I don't think they need a running back right away to actually start, but they got someone to. Yes, I just talked about. Oh, Zach, you might have missed that. So I did do Atlanta, and actually, while you're here, you might as well talk about that. I'm like, absolutely love the Bijan Robinson pickup. An absolute beast. The only thing is, I'm like, you guys already had Cordell Patterson and Tyler Allgeier. I'm assuming, I'm like, one of them might have to go. But definitely like the pickup of Bijan Robinson. Matthew Bergeron, he could be an instant starter as well. Offensive guard. Zach Hennison, I think his name is, from Ohio State, defensive end. Watch out for this kid. I'm like, he's 6'6", 274 pounds. And his stats didn't project like as good in college, but I'm like, watch out for him. He has a lot of potential and could be a number one starter as well. Mixed feelings that all the Atlanta Falcons picks. And then Mark Phillips III, cornerback. I'm like, and then your seventh overall picks, DeMarco Hellens and Javon Gwynn. One's a safety, one's an offensive guard. I'm like, yeah, because I'm like, the one thing you guys needed was a wide receiver. I don't think you guys needed a quarterback, but you guys needed a defensive tackle, and you never got that defensive, a big body in the middle of that field. So I'm like, you definitely need. But Zach, you weren't too active on YouTube this week, or did I miss it? Yeah, did you go live on Thursday, Zach? A lot of my Georgia and Falcons fans mad they did not pick up any Georgia players like Philadelphia. Actually, that's kind of weird, right? I'm like, you guys, Atlanta Falcons, they would have seen how good Georgia was. And they were available when Atlanta picked. But I definitely pick up Bijan Robinson. Well, I think Bijan Robinson is the best player in the draft. And I'm like, I don't think if he's available and you really like him, I don't think you can, even though you have running backs already, I think you have to make that pick. Win Life Thursday. Oh, okay. I'll have to go back and check it out as well. Been super busy at the farm. Oh, I hear you. I'm like, I was busy. I worked Thursday night and Friday night. Thursday? No, I went to the Jays game on Wednesday, and then I went and I worked late on Friday night. So that's why I didn't go live last night. Got home a little later. I think 11:30 or something like that. Okay, so the Bengals 6th-round pick was Andre Iosivas, 6'3", 205-pound from Princeton. Wide receiver, we'll have to see. I'm like, he didn't get a great grade, and he's pretty much the 216th overall ranking in the draft. So we'll just have to see how he does. And Zach and Sense, if you want to come on, I'm like, I did leave the let's see here. ACC, how's it going? How did your sale go, my friend? If anyone wants to jump on and talk some college football or NFL football, college football draft, come on in. Their next 6th-round pick was Brad Robbins, 6'1", 199 pounds. Looks like he's a punter. I was gonna say, look at this guy. He doesn't even look like a football player. And then I realized he's a punter. And then I realized he's not a football player. He's just a punter. He's a soccer player. No, just joking. But it looks like Robbins is a powerful punter who finished with the 2nd best career punting average and single season average in Michigan history. Definitely that's the most exciting. Position you can have. And then they finish off their draft with DJ Ivey, who was the 29th overall pick. So, a lot of these 7th-round picks, you're hoping for depth. You're hoping that they make the club and they can add that depth. This kid is – they actually don't – they don't say how tall or anything he is, so I'm not sure. Ivy started 33 games on Miami, picking off 6 passes over his career. He's lean with top-end speed. Ivy has the strength to get his hands on receivers and reroute them. Yeah, I'm like, shout out to kickers. Yeah, I know. I'm just joking about that. Field goal kickers, punters, they're definitely needed in the NFL. And if you can carve a career as a punter, definitely that's pretty decent. So I'm like, it was an okay draft for Cincinnati. A lot of potential, but with the Bengals being a really good team already, they don't need a lot of these guys to start right off the hop. Miles Murphy will probably start right off the hop. DJ Turner, I think they need some cornerback help, so he could start right away. Hey, Bobby Catalano, how are you doing? And like Jordan Battle, I'm like, they don't need him to start. They did lose a couple of safeties, but they signed some already. So, he doesn't have to start right off the hop. Charlie Jones, a smaller receiver, but, looks like he can, he's a good right runner and stuff like that. So, and Chase Brown. So they got a wide receiver and they got a running back. All right, let's go to the Browns. Let's go to Cleveland. If Ohio State had a good kicker, they could have played in the national championship. Yep, they would have played in the Natties, and they probably would have won the Natties because I think whoever won that game was going to win. That's why the college football needs to go to a 12-team playoff because I'm happy that those teams made it, but that's all it was. I'm like, if you had them, if you had, who was it that made it? I forget who it was now. But I'm like, say in the first round, you had them play against Alabama and they had home field advantage or whatever you do. Alabama probably would have went in there and kicked their butts. And then, it would have been great. They made the playoffs. That's awesome. But then they're not in the national championship game because do they deserve to be? I don't know. Like, yeah, they had a good season, all that stuff. They just are not – they're not the teams. That's why you need a national – and then the thing is, if they go in and beat Alabama, that's great because then that's their national championship basically. But, yeah. I'm like, that's just what I think. All right, so Cleveland did not. So Cleveland's first round pick and second round pick is basically Deshaun Watson. Okay, that was what they traded. That's what they traded to get Deshaun Watson. So they didn't pick until the third round. Yes, I think at least in a couple years. I don't think it's this year. I think in 2 years they're going to expand it. But it gives more teams a chance to win it all. Also gives the teams, like I said, that had a really good season, makes it into the top 4. Maybe one of the top teams like Alabama loses a game, knocks them down to 5. I'm like, in that playoff scenario, you could have those two teams going at it, or you could have had, I feel like an Oregon or whoever is the 8-9 team or whatever. And then even though the 8-9 team could actually be a better team, they just had less, they just play in a tougher division. Then it makes it like, yes, this team deserves to be there because, right, they actually won a decent game. But yeah, I'm like, I'm excited for that. I think we need more football anyways. All right, so wide receiver, they picked in the third round, Cedric Tillman. He's from that Tennessee team that was really decent. And he's a decent size as well. 6'3", 213 pounds. He grades out pretty good. Tillman's a tall receiver. For me, if I'm drafting a team, if I'm drafting a fantasy team, or say I'm drafting a team in Madden or whatever, I'm always going for the tall receivers. Like my favorite receivers are DK Metcalf. This is why I'm excited for the Buffalo Bills. Hopefully that kid, he's 6'2", 230 or whatever it is. Hopefully, it's just a big body at the end of the end zone. And if they can blaze down the field as well, I'm like, and they can get past the corners, I'm like, that's the type of receiver that I like. And, so I'm in Cedric Tillman, I would definitely be giving him, hopefully he can develop. And so Tillman's a tall receiver with an impressive route running savvy, a big catch radius, and strong hands. Does an excellent job tracking the ball, a deep ball, and using his length to win 50-50 opportunities. He has a natural feel for contorting his body, timing his jumps, and shielding defenders. Tillman picks up yards after the catch by making one quick move and dragging defensive backs for extra yards. So definitely could be, definitely a weapon for Deshaun Watson. They had a third pick, and that was they picked Siaki Ika from 6'3", 335 pounds from Baylor, DT. This kid is a big kid, can be disruptive for sure. Hey, what the Kraken? How's it going, my friend? And we got Jay Pylon. How's it going? Hope everyone's doing well on this Saturday. We've got the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's tied at 1-1. This is a crucial game. Tampa Bay has to win. Just not because I'm an Eagles fan, but we stole the draft again. I'm coming up to the Eagles, and I think the Eagles did a really good job. I'm like, they were a good team already, and they absolutely improved their team, which is awesome.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going? Actually, and talking about the Eagles, perfect segue there. We got the Eagles with a bunch of Georgia players.
Oh, go Dogs!
So that should be pretty interesting.
Thought I'd drop by here. I'm a little dirty, so I don't want to put myself on the camera.
No worries.
I had a big plant sale at the farm today, and I'm just really dirty. But Yeah, I just want to stop in and say hey, and let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm telling you, people here in Georgia, man, they've been writing letters saying that they're leaving their loyalties to the Falcons and going to the new Philadelphia Georgia Bulldogs.
That's exactly right. I'm like, so if we go down to the Eagles, they picked up Jalen Carter. Maybe I'm like, I said that Bijan was definitely like the best player in the draft this year, which I think he is.
Oh man,
Jalen Carter is like, he's disruptive. He can be one of the better defenders in the draft.
I was watching that draft, and is Jalen Carter still on the board, and the Falcons are about to pick, right? And I'm thinking, oh come on Falcons, you got to do this. You got to do this.
Yep.
And another part of me is telling me, okay, you know, you see Jalen Carter, what happened to him over the offseason, and the death of his player, and he was involved in that legal aspect of that, and he had, you know, he was kind of involved in it. I want him to play in Atlanta, but at the same time, if you were in college and you had all that happen to you, wouldn't it be kind of good to start over in a new place, in a new city, and kind of move on from that? I mean, I think it would be tough for him to stay nearby and stay in Atlanta. I think it was. I hated to see him not come to Atlanta, but at the same time, I'm kind of happy for him too.
So was he the one that was driving that car?
He was a part of it. There were two cars. What I believe it was after the national championship parade and rally, and one of the vehicles was being driven by this girl who was like an assistant on the team.
Okay.
They had been drinking and driving. They were racing and speeding, and I've seen photos of the accident. It's horrible accident, and it's really, really sad. Especially on the night after you're celebrating the national championship.
I know it came so close after that, right?
And to lose a player and that trainer on that staff as well is heartbreaking. And there's been a lot of investigations. You know, some people were, you know, Kirby Smart is accountable for this because she was driving in a college vehicle.
Ooh.
It wasn't her personal vehicle. It was the athletic department's vehicle. So there's a lot of controversy with that. But so, you know, I think for him it's a good fresh start for him. Even and I was reading somewhere this week, he was saying that he really didn't even give his best at Georgia. And he even said that. So imagine what he could do at Philadelphia. I think. And did you hear that Philadelphia, I didn't put this in the chat, they traded for DeAndre Swift today?
Yes, they did.
Heck, can you not believe that? It's like UGA over there now. I mean, how could they picked up Nolan in the draft? They picked
Nolan
up
Smith was the next pick.
Jordan Davis. They have Swift now. I mean, good grief.
And then last year, I believe they picked up some Georgia Bulldogs as well on their defense. So
they are just stacked. There's another guy or two, on there. I can't remember his name, but they are loaded, man. I mean, Jalen Hurts played against Georgia in the national championship.
Yeah, exactly.
They pulled him and put two in.
So in the fourth round, they picked Kelly Ringo.
Kelly Ringo, man, he made the championship to beat Alabama 2 years ago for Georgia. Yep. We love Ringo. They
drafted Tanner McKee from Stanford, but they actually picked up an Alabama player too. So I'm like, I feel sorry for the Alabama player, but he's on the offense. He's on the offensive tackle, so it doesn't really matter. But
I'd say Jalen Hurts was Alabama, but then he has a little bit of remorse for Alabama.
He was Alabama.
He was.
But Swift for a fourth, which was
they got a steal. Why did Detroit do that? That was. I mean, I know he gets beaten up a lot, but he's good. If he stays healthy, he can. I would have been traded.
I think the Lions kind of gave up on him. I think the Lions gave up on him early last year. Actually, last year when he got hurt, right? When he came back, Williams was doing so well, and Detroit was doing really well. It kind of feels like they just gave up on him and never gave him really an opportunity. Oh, Toronto wins.
Oh, yeah. I was watching a little bit of that tonight, them in Tampa.
Maple Leafs actually make it out of the first round, first time in 11 years. That's impressive.
Beat the Lightning. What's the Winnipeg series right now in Las Vegas? How's that going? Is Las Vegas winning that?
I think Vegas. Did they win it last night?
I know they were up in the series. We're pulling for Vegas, man, because we hate those Winnipeg Raiders. Sorry, Winnipeg.
Oh yeah.
You know who they are. They were another team in the ATL, and then they moved. So I'm not pulling with them. Sorry, Winnipeg. I love y'all, but
I think they finished it off last night, or
yeah. Now my friend, he's a diehard Winnipeg Jets fan. He left when they left Atlanta. He's like on a podcast, and he's diehard for them. I just can't. I cannot pull for him. I know it's hard for me to even look at him playing on the rink. It just breaks my heart.
So yeah, Vegas won in 5 games.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Nice.
the Jets had some injuries going in, and
well, they weren't very good last year at all. Winnipeg.
they weren't a good team at all. Then they started off hot, and
then
then Vegas is definitely the better team.
Vegas is good. Isn't that amazing how they were just an expansion team and they have gotten so good so fast?
Exactly. Right off the hop, they were good.
Yeah. Look at the Kraken making the playoffs.
Yeah, the Kraken. Yeah, forcing game. Well, they didn't force because I think they're up 3-2, but that's going into Game 7. But yeah, Leaf fan down under is definitely going crazy.
Yeah, I bet he is. Yeah, him and his wife. She goes crazy when he pulls Austin Matthews, man.
I know, right?
I love watching them, man. I sit there, I'll put my earbuds on and listen. Just listen. I don't even watch them. I just listen to them and their excitement whenever she pulls Maple Leaf players. How she gets so pumped, man. They're awesome, man.
And the thing is, it could just be a base card, and it's like Tavares, or Matthews.
I love them.
But yeah, going back to Detroit, they did pick up Jahmyr Gibbs. That's why I knew Swift was pretty much done after that, because if you picked up Jahmyr Gibbs and he's the same type of running back as Swift, I guess I maybe Detroit likes Alabama players and Philadelphia likes Georgia players, and that's where it's gonna go. But I'm like, Detroit did well. I'm like, in the draft, I'm like, they got Jahmyr Gibbs, so a replacement. They got Jack Campbell, inside linebacker.
I saw that pick.
They got Sam Laporta from Iowa, tight end, which they needed a tight end. And I think Laporta was one of the top tight ends in the draft. And like, why did they even trade Hawkinson? Like, he must have been bad in the locker room, I guess. I'm like, why would you trade a young TJ Hawkinson?
Yeah. Detroit showed some real signs of being a pretty good team toward the end of the season last year.
Exactly.
It looks like they really, even Jared Goff started playing really well. I was really quite surprised of how.
I was happy to see Jared Goff. To see Jared Goff start playing. And they picked up Hendon Hooker, so I'm like, if
they
Hooker,
did, they got Hooker.
Yeah, they got him in the third round.
That's a steal, man. That dude.
I think so too.
Wow, he played so awesome for Tennessee. And look, I Tennessee is a Georgia fan. Georgia fans don't like to hear me say this, but they're like one of my second favorite teams because I was born in Tennessee.
Okay, yep.
For a brief time when I was a kid, we lived in Chattanooga, and so I always kind of had a little bit of a alliance to Tennessee. But I'm a Georgia dog for life. But I'm a Georgia grad. I can't. It's hard. A lot of Georgia fans hate me for saying that, especially up here because I live near the Georgia-Tennessee border. But he played awesome. He looked so good, and going into the Georgia-Tennessee game, people thought Tennessee was going to roll over Georgia. He has got so much talent. I would have taken him way over the quarterback for Kentucky, Will Levis. Or
being a Tennessee Titan fan, I was hoping for Hendon Hooker over Levis.
Yeah.
Levis has an awesome arm. I'm like, don't get me wrong. I'm like, his arm is like NFL caliber. The only thing is, I'm like, he's only got 12 starts under his belt. Yeah. His problem was he came out. He was definitely probably a first-round draft pick if he stayed and played one more year in Kentucky.
Yeah, since they says you do like Bennett to the Rams, I said this in the chat earlier. I love Bennett to the Rams.
Oh, exactly.
I love Bennett to the Rams. And Stafford is a Georgia legend, and it was so crazy. Okay, Georgia played the national championship in the Rams Stadium. Okay, Stafford did the coin toss. Now he's going to go play in the Rams Stadium for the Rams. I mean, I can't think of two people to mentor each other. If Stafford does leave in a few years, if Stafford gets hurt, look how injury prone he is.
Yep.
And Bennett could step in there and he could be that hero. Look, Stetson Bennett, he just went from a no-name all the way up to where he is today. You could see that with the Rams.
I said that when I watched him play the last couple of years, after this national championship game, I was like, Stetson Bennett, I'm like, watch it for him because I think he could be a starter in the NFL. And I think this is the perfect place to be because I'm like, yeah, no matter what, I'm like, if, even if it takes 2 years and Stafford leaves in 2 years, 3 years, I'm like, he'll be able to play under Stafford for at least a couple years and then learn how to start. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good pick for the for the Rams.
I like that.
But I like Hooker for the Lions as well because the same thing. He doesn't have to start right away. He can't start right away anyways because I think he's hurt for most of the season, if not all the season, right? But I'm like, he'll be able to learn. He's a great leader. And I'm like, I have so much respect for like what he did. Like he didn't have to be at any of the bowl games that they played in, and yet he was there motivating his team. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, that's the type of guy that I want on my team, and that's why I wanted him in Tennessee. But we picked Levis. We'll see. I do like him. I just thought he needed to stay. And I don't like the fact that we're giving up on Malik Willis that fast. I hate giving up on quarterback.
Are they already giving up on Malik Willis?
Yeah, it kind of seems like it. Like if you pick a second round pick is a guy that you want to start, if not right away, if later in the season or next season, I'm like, it would be a waste of a pick. Whereas at least Malik Willis was a third rounder. It's a little different, I guess. They don't have to start right away, but yeah, I wasn't a fan of it, and we traded up for it as well. And that was another thing that I'm just like, not a fan, but I will learn to, hopefully Levis changes my mind.
Yeah.
But like I said, I like Tannehill. I'm like, how bad would that make Tannehill feel? They literally drafted the guy to replace him 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
And I'm like, it's hopefully he's just like Tom Brady and is like, you know what? Draft these guys. I'm still going to I'm still going to be at the helm, and I'm still going to win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they will, but they didn't trade Henry, right? So that should be interesting.
Talking about the Tennessee, the head coach of the Falcons used to be offensive coordinator for Tennessee, right?
Right.
So the reason the Falcons, I think, drafted a running back is because the Falcons coach is looking for somebody like a Derrick Henry, and he wants somebody in that running back. And I was mad. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I first saw they drafted a running back and they passed on Jalen Carter, I was mad. But then now more and more I've listened to a lot of sports radio in Atlanta. They've been talking about it, and I'm kind of okay with it because I see where they're going to kind of fit them in. It gives them more weapons at running back. It leaves them to be more versatile. They're going to use Cordell Patterson. They're going to use what's his name? Algiers. They're going to use all three of them together. So that'll be great. It gives them another offensive weapon because you think last year they drafted those receivers.
Yep.
They have
Drake London.
Drake London, and then they
Kyle
tied in Kyle Pitts, and then you have the quarterback. We'll see how that goes, but you got some weapons there. So definitely, Sith. Hey, I'm gonna tune into that.
We will definitely be there at 11 o'clock, Sith. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Saw that on Insta today. That's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be a great one. Tannehill can play wide receiver. He could. That's what Tennessee needs. We need a wide receiver. Yes, that's going to be an awesome show. We will definitely be there at 11 o'clock.
Definitely.
But yeah, I'm like, actually, let's go over to Tennessee and let's.
Yeah, I didn't. Hey, by the way, I didn't mean to compete with you on Thursday night. I really didn't know you were live at the same time I did until I'm sitting there in the middle of my stream. And I looked over and I said, "Me and David go live," and I kept telling people, "Come, go over to watch David, watch him and me together, go back and forth." I was sitting there saying that stream, so I just blabbered on.
I never even thought, and I was just like. I was just like, and it was like, oh, the draft's on. I'm just gonna go live, and we'll just do like a reaction type of thing. And
my stream was horrible on Thursday night. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sid said in the chat, I accidentally, and I don't know how I did this. I put it on kids chat, and so there was no chat for like 30 minutes of the whole stream.
And you're wondering why is no one chatting?
No, and and then I realized it, and everybody was gone, and I just started doing almost just doing play-by-play of the Hawks game, and then they lost, and it was a bad stream. But hey, I was back. I hadn't done a live stream in 2 weeks, so
don't worry.
It was. But I've been so busy with my farm. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been great. I've had the best sales since during COVID was the best year ever I had selling plants, and this year was better than that. It was the best year ever. So I had to kind of put a little bit YouTube off the side a little bit because
for sure
that helps pay the bills and buy the hamster and bunnykins so we can go watch Guardians of the Galaxy this summer or something.
Nice.
Go to the Braves game or something. So we gotta save up. But definitely, we had our last sale today, so I'm back at it. I'm back.
How was the farmers market today?
Well, good. See, I didn't go to farmers market today because what we did is we just opened up the greenhouse and I had people come out. And last weekend was amazing. I had my best sales in one day ever, and it was unbelievable. I sold half the greenhouse. I did a video. Did you see the video on my farming channel? I went in there and did a live stream from the farm.
Oh shoot! I have to check that out. I don't know. I never got the. Well, that's the problem. Like sometimes you just don't get the.
Yeah, my channel's super small on the farm. I got to grow it some more, but I did a live stream out there, and I sold half that greenhouse in one day. People kept calling, and we live in a small town. All we have is a Dollar General, so it was just amazing to see so many people come out to the farm on that day. So it was just amazing. So I had to put YouTube off a little bit, and so my videos and my live streams have not been that great this last week or two. But hey, it happens. Like when I got COVID one week, I had to take a little bit off.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So. Actually, it's funny because I didn't have COVID, but I was sick. So if you have 2 symptoms or something with my work, you're done for 5 days, right? So I'm but I felt good enough. I kept testing negative because at that point I had to test 3 times a week. So I was testing negative, but the first couple days I was it was Easter. I just Saturday, Sunday I felt so sick. I thought for sure I was going to test positive. Never did. But then I'm the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I was off till Friday, and I'm I put out so many shorts that week. I think I went live. I think that's when I started doing the tennis, the Madden.
Oh yeah.
Gameplay and stuff like that. And I'm it just it was awesome.
Well, that's what I've been doing. I've been working at the farm till work full time and then I would go out to the farm to about 8 or 9 o'clock. Then I come home and work on. I try to get in at least 2 shorts at night. In that peak time, and I can't miss that 10, 11 o'clock peak short time. So I had to put in a short or 2. So I'm trying to put in all the numbers. I try to get in every word I can on the tags and all that. And,
right.
And I've definitely been throwing in a Paw Patrol and a Super Mario at least every other night. I mean, you got to mix in both of those because they're the best, man. Did you see my Insta? I had a 5.4 Super Mario sliding down a pole at Target last night.
Oh, nice!
I couldn't believe it.
That's awesome.
So those have been hitting good. So I've been trying. That's been helping me on the sub count. But it's been good. Still getting those subs with the Mario and the Paw Patrol, and I've been doing other stuff, dude. Not I don't want to be I've been throwing in some Indiana Jones. I just dropped one tonight, a Flash Batman. Trying to do some comics and trying to pull clips from streams and stuff like that. So I like to add it, but I at least try to do a Mario or Paw Patrol or something every other night or every other, trying to mix 1 or 2 in there. Because every time I see something Mario, I go and film our Paw Patrol. Whenever, last night I was at Walmart, I was I saw 5 things Paw Patrol. So I'm let me do that quick. Hey, there's Paw Patrol cereal right there.
That's got a video
What did I do? I found a Paw Patrol calendar last night. I think I was working on it. Gotta find that, man. Oh, they had Paw Patrol in the clearance aisle. Was it last week? And I did one. So I was like, oh, man.
Pretty soon, like your office will just have like nothing but Paw Patrol stuff on it. It'll be calendars and toys.
Yeah, so that's been really hitting. But I like mixing it up. I don't want to be like, like Sith is he's Super Mario, man. He's Super Mario.
And he's doing awesome with it.
Oh my gosh.
He's got a couple that I'm like, I've already liked or whatever, but it keeps popping up on my the shorts feed or whatever. I'm like, he's got a couple that are like 195,000 views. And I'm like, that's awesome. I'm like, only certain ones go up to that, right? I'm like, whereas most of them are between 2,000 to 5,000. But I'm like, if you can just keep getting those out, I'm like, whereas me, I'm like, I find like I've lost my short time. I'm like, I was 8 o'clock in the morning and then 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Usually, those 2 times would hit. Then it switched up, and then it's kind of like 1 o'clock became like 4 or 5 o'clock, and then 5, and then that next one was like around 8 o'clock. But I've kind of lost my time now. I'm not sure because last week I didn't put out as many shorts. Maybe that's why. But so I'm trying to find my time again because certain videos will still do well, but then other videos just for some reason don't hit anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I get that too. It's just crazy what will hit and what won't. And
I know.
You were saying something about how you put in the word Super Mario Brothers movie, and that really hits good. I've been putting that in there a lot, and it helps.
You put Super Mario movie in all the time, and it'll hit.
I entered it like 3 different ways. I entered it with a tag, and then I did it separately. Hey, there's Loop 19 sports cards in the house.
Hey, how's it going, my friend? We're just talking draft. We actually switched from draft.
Yeah, sorry, we got off topic. Sorry, David. I apologize. I'm diverting.
We were actually going to start talking about the Tennessee Titans, and we decided to go on about shorts and
farms and Paw Patrol,
and live streams,
Care Bears,
Paw Patrol calendars. All the good stuff, all the moneymaker stuff.
That's right.
But yeah, so the Titans, I like our first round pick, Peter Skorinski. Yes, the Eagles did clean up. I'm like, when you have Georgia Bulldog players, I'm pretty sure they have like 5 Georgia Bulldog starters just on defense now.
I saw a press release from Georgia tonight, and I think it was 7 or 8 Georgia Bulldogs.
Is that just on defense, or was that?
I saw it on Instagram tonight. I have to go pull it up on my phone. Let me go see that.
I'm like, because I could probably see 7 to 8 defenders being from Georgia as well. Like, that's crazy.
They had a picture of all of them, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's like half the team.
Like exactly, that's half the defense. But yeah, so our first round pick was actually a pick that I learned from Zach's collections, and that's Peter Skorinski. He was hoping that the Steelers would draft him. We needed an offensive tackle, and we got him. 6'4", 313 pounds from Northwestern. He seems like he's he's going to be a starter right off the hop. And so high impact day 1 starter. The Titans are in desperate need of offensive linemen, and Skorinski can play multiple spots as a rookie. Our second round pick, where we traded up, we got Will Levis. I like his size as a quarterback. I'm like 6'4", 229. That's what you want. He has an NFL arm for sure. But yeah, the only thing, he's mobile as well. But the only thing about him is he just doesn't have game experience. I think he's only started 12 games in college. So Tannehill's 34 years old. So yeah, we'll have to see where he goes. In the third round, we drafted a running back, Tyjair Spears from Tulane, 5'10", 201 pounds, which is weird because we did draft one last year as well. We then drafted Josh Wiley from Cincinnati, tight end. Jalen Duncan, offensive tackle from Maryland, and Colton Dowell. We finally got a wide receiver in the 7th round from UT Martin. So,
University of Tennessee Martin.
Yep.
Shout out.
Yep. So I don't know. I'm like, we'll see how that goes. I'm like, I think I like getting, like, if we drafted Will Levis in the 1st round, I would have been a lot more upset. 2nd round, I can live with it.
You know what I got sick of? When I was watching the ESPN coverage, they constantly were showing Will Levis. Like, the whole 1st round, you kept seeing these pictures of him. Like, come on. And then he didn't go into, like, the 2nd round. I guess ESPN thought he was going to go 1st round or something.
I was going to say, I don't blame him for leaving. I'm like, because everyone built him up to be in that 1st round, when I'm like, in actuality, I don't think – she stole my thunder. I was just watching the background. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the support. I would have been more upset if they got drafted him in the 1st round. I don't think he was a 1st-round quarterback this year. If he came out next year, definitely a 1st-round talent. Like, he has the size, he has the arm strength, he's mobile, he's able to get out of trouble. But this year, I think it's going to be a learning year. Hopefully, I hope we keep Tannehill. I like Tanny. And hopefully he can learn from Tanny, and then whoever, and then I hope we keep Malik Willis, and whoever's the best quarterback's the starter next year or 2 years from now.
Do you think that San Francisco is going to keep Purdy and Trey Lance?
I've been saying this, and I'm like, yes, you keep both of them. I'm like, both of them are under rookie contracts. Trey Lance, 2 more years for sure. 1 more year, and then they have to decide whether to give him a bigger contract or just have him stay in his rookie contract for 2 years and then get rid of him at that point. To me, I'm like, Trey Lance starts next year. You keep Brock Purdy as your backup. Purdy's in his 2nd year of his rookie contract. Both those quarterbacks will not get paid that much. Or at least I think Trey Lance, with being a 1st-round draft pick, he'll have the bigger contract. To me, I'm like, yeah, you keep both. I start Trey Lance. I know that they signed Sam Darnold as well. I don't know why, but yeah, I like Trey Lance. I want him to still get that shot.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because before, if you had asked me that last year, I would have said, get rid of Trey Lance. I want to see Jimmy Garoppolo lead that offense because I really like Jimmy G. And now I'm like, no, we need to keep Trey Lance. So luckily, I'm not a San Francisco 49ers fan. I just think Trey Lance has, like, those intangibles that, he will just make him a really good quarterback. Trey Lance will probably end up as a Raider. Probably. And then,
how about a Minnesota Viking?
they didn't draft anybody, right? Just saw you pull 2 Iversons out of metal. Yes, I did. And then, did you just comment on that video, Luke? If you're on Instagram, look me up. You said I'll trade for those Iversons. Look me up on Instagram if you're on Instagram. If not, you can email me at, hold on, I have to find it. Actually, I'll write in the chat. Oh, you did? Okay. Message me on Instagram and we can figure something out.
Okay, I'm going to go live here, y'all, so if I look dirty, hang on, watch this. Okay, check this out. Oh, man, I hope the camera doesn't show this. This is called the Philadelphia Bulldogs. I just saw this on Instagram. See if I can show you this. But it's got every Georgia Bulldog. Oh, man, there's such a glare in this room. Every Georgia Bulldog that's playing for Philadelphia right now. DeAndre
my
Swift,
God.
Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Kelly Ringo, Jordan Davis, and N'Kobe Dean. Isn't that crazy?
Jeez. That's decent.
Yeah. All right, this is all you're gonna see of me, y'all. Okay, I'm going back to the. There you go.
Yeah, the Eagles are gonna be good. I'm like for a long time too. I'm like, actually, they picked up Ringo, and he's a wide receiver, right?
No, he's on the defense.
Oh, he's on the defense. Okay,
He's like a cornerback.
he's a cornerback. Okay, yeah, I was like,
Alabama's about to win the game, the national championship. 2 years ago, he made a crucial interception, and I'm hiding behind the curtain, but
yeah.
he made a crucial interception that won the game for Georgia, and I about jumped out of my seat. He that led Georgia to their first national championship. He'll always be loved here in Georgia for that. So we're always pulling for him.
For sure. I'm like, especially when you guys won 2 national championships to basically ruin Alabama's legacy of
dominance.
Of the last 10.
All respect, Alabama's good. I love Alabama. Really I've been to Alabama games. I've been to Alabama Auburn. I've been to Alabama Georgia games. Alabama fans are awesome, man. They are die-hard fans. They are so loyal to that school. I've never seen a more loyal fan base. So I don't really have any discontent with Alabama. And Nick Saban has done great work with them. Alabama was not a very good program before Saban came in, and he really turned them around. I remember going, was it 2004? I went to Auburn, Alabama game. They were being coached then, I think, by Tony Tuberville.
Yep.
And they had gone on to the national championship that year, and Auburn it was in Tuscaloosa, and Auburn just ran them all over the field. And I remember how Alabama fans would make a touchdown, and they would get so excited. I'd never seen a fan base so excited. And I was like, these guys are so loyal. And they wear these Bear Bryant hats everywhere you go across Tuscaloosa. Because Bear Bryant, I mean, I'm sure Nick Saban has become this at Tuscaloosa now, but Bear Bryant is just so loved at Tuscaloosa. He is like the legend of Alabama football.
Oh yeah, for sure. That would have been awesome. I'm like, and that Bama was not a good team, and then Saban just came in and just rejuvenated that. So it's interesting because I just had to look up New England, because New England, Bill Belichick and Saban always have that, right? That Mac Jones is there, and I was just like, I wonder if New England picked up any Alabama players, but no, they did not.
Did New England pick up another quarterback at all?
So they picked up Christian Gonzalez in the first round. He's a cornerback from Oregon. So it seems like all the first round cornerbacks were all 6 foot and higher, and most of the wide receivers that were drafted in the first round were 5'10" to 5'11", which I'm just like, if that trend continues, I'm like, the cornerbacks are going to have an advantage at some point. Keon White, defensive end. Marte Mapu, inside linebacker from Sacramento State. Jake Andrews, a center from Troy. They picked up Chad Ryland, a field goal kicker. Saidi So from Eastern Michigan, offensive guard. Then they picked up Antonio Maffey, offensive guard from UCLA. Oh, they picked up Keyshawn Boots from LSU, which I think that's a good pick.
It is. LSU's got a good team.
He was a decent wide receiver. They picked up a punter, Bryce Behringer. They picked up Demario Douglas, wide receiver from Liberty. Amir Speed, cornerback, and Isaiah Bolden, cornerback. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 picks. And most of them were defense. 1, 2, 3. They picked up a center, PK, and a field goal kicker. Keyshawn Boot was the only offensive weapon that they gave Mac Jones. Oh, no, sorry. They picked up 2 wide receivers, Demario Douglas as well. But I'm like, he's 5'8", 179.
Well, I guess they believe in Mac Jones, or maybe Zappy,
or Zap, right?
Yeah. So I like Mac Jones. I think he's got some potential. I think some people aren't down him a lot, but I think he'd be okay.
I like Mac Jones. Like I said, I said about Malik Willis. I'm like, I don't like giving up on quarterbacks. Like, I keep saying, like, even in Arizona, when they drafted Josh Rosen, the next year they gave up on Rosen and then drafted Kyler Murray. Yeah. Yes, Murray started off hot, did really well, but I'm like, what if they had just stuck with Rosen for one more year? The next year, you know, if you have a top draft pick, your picks are either Joe Burrow,
Jalen
Hurts, Tua, Justin Herbert. I'm like, you get one of those 4 quarterbacks. I take one of those 4 quarterbacks over Kyler Murray.
What a draft!
I'm like,
that's why I'm keeping all my sealed 2021 product, man. I'm keeping it all sealed because you have 4 awesome quarterbacks. Going back to sports cards, I mean, that's just if you can find any of that sealed product, you want to keep it because those rookies will always be in there. You know, you could get one of those in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Did somebody just pop in?
So yeah, Kyle Busch fan, are you there? He might be. But yeah. We've got a few more minutes left, and then we're going to head on over to Spine Ticks. Check out his live stream. He has like a writer coming on.
Yeah, the Tarzan writer.
Yeah, so that should be.
Excited. He's very excited about it. He was talking about that during the night I was on there. He just announced this.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
So yeah, I'm not sure. Like, who would you like? I'm like, Carolina had a good draft. Houston had I haven't talked about Houston yet. Houston had a really good draft. I think Houston improved themselves a lot.
Yes.
Actually, I wanted to look at Minnesota. They picked Cam Smith. So they didn't have a first round draft pick. So they picked Cam Smith in second. They only had 4 picks. Devin Ashney, running back from Texas A&M, Elijah Higgins, wide receiver, and Ryan Hayes, offensive tackle. So they basically went all offense except for the cornerback. But I wanted to take a look at Houston, where they picked. So they had the second pick where they got C.J. Stroud. Then they went out and traded for the 3rd pick, Will Anderson Jr.
That's a great pickup.
I'm like,
2 great pickups.
Right there, that's an A+ right there.
ESPN was talking about that. Like, you got C.J. Stroud, and then you got him a weapon.
Exactly. You got the offensive weapon, and then you got the defensive weapon. Like, Will Anderson's possibly the best defender to come out of Alabama, if not college football ever. A lot of potential there. Then they picked up Juice Scruggs, center from Penn State. Nathaniel Dell from Houston, wide receiver. Dylan Horton, TCU, defensive end. Henry Toho, inside linebacker from Alabama. Jarrett Patterson, center from Notre Dame. Xavier Hutchinson, Iowa State, wide receiver. And Brandon Hill from Pittsburgh, safety. So I think Houston, they improved a lot.
Yeah.
I assume that Juice Scruggs, he's a second rounder. He should be able to start next year. Nathaniel Dell, Nathaniel Dell, 5'8", 165. So you better have some top-end speed.
Yeah. That's got as well.
Because if not, he's going to get absolutely nailed.
Killed.
Yeah.
That's a kicker. That's a kicker size, right?
I was going to say he's definitely a kick returner, punt returner as well. So,
shout out to kickers, man.
So since the start of 2021, no FBS receiver has more receiving yards. So he's 2,727 receiving yards and 29 touchdowns than Dell. So hey, he did in college.
How about Aaron going to the Jets this week? That was huge.
Right?
Now the Jordan Love legacy begins now in Green Bay. I wonder how 6G's feeling about that.
I don't know, because I don't believe in Love. I don't know how he will be.
It's gonna be interesting to see.
But it's funny because the New York Jets comes up. They pick number 15. No receivers have been really. I don't think any receiver have been picked yet. Bijan Robinson was picked. So you're like, they're going to supply Aaron Rodgers with a first-round draft pick that could become a wide receiver. And what do? They get Will McDonald IV, outside linebacker. I'm like, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're not like, God damn. I'm like, doesn't matter where I am, they're not supplying me with anything.
Yeah. And didn't I hear that Aaron Rodgers had like a wish list of players, and I don't think any of those players have signed. If that's a true story, that was like a speculation or something.
No, they did. Oh my gosh, the one receiver from Green Bay, he did sign.
Odell Beckham was one of them, wasn't it?
Odell Beckham was probably one of them. Yeah, he signed in Cleveland.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name from Green Bay that they signed? I think the Jets signed two of the players.
Oh, he did. Okay, I thought a couple of them had signed other players.
But a lot of them were like from his team, from his old team in Green Bay.
Yeah, interesting to see the Jets how they play. Their defense is great. You got Sauce Gardner. You got that other guy on their defense, the rookie last year.
Alan Lazard. Sorry.
Yeah. So they look like. They played really good last year, except at the quarterback position.
Sorry, Sensei. You're right. He did go to the Ravens. Yeah. He did. I'm not sure why I said Cleveland.
Ravens. That was it.
Beckham was in Cleveland.
Now he's gonna play with Lamar. Big signing for Lamar is gonna stay in Baltimore. So.
That could be dangerous too.
It could be. So I'm interested to see how the Jets play. I think they'll be good. How good? I don't know.
I don't know. I think after this draft, I have to give the AFC East to Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think they had the best team coming in, and then I think they improved tenfold.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a Bills fan. I usually talk bad about the Bills, but I'm like, I really do think that they improved tenfold.
Yeah.
They have two lethal tight ends now. They picked up that wide receiver that I think could, if he becomes a weapon, that's something they don't even have in the wide receiver group yet.
But for the Jets, a success for them is a playoff.
But yeah, so
I'm not saying Super Bowl for Aaron Rodgers. I'm saying making the playoffs for the Jets. Those Jets fans will be happy just to make the first round of the playoffs.
I'm like, it'll be interesting because it'll be a battle for that second spot between Miami, New England, and the Jets.
Yes. Oh man.
And you have to kind of give it to Rodgers because Rodgers seems to get it done.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if Rodgers doesn't win the AFC East as well. I would not be surprised about that.
That's going to be a really great division.
But the AFC in general is really good. You'll have Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati. Wow. Okay, so those are the three teams. Oh, and then Jacksonville. They'll probably win the divisions.
Shout out to T-Law, man.
Right, and then so three more teams will make the playoffs after that, and then you'll have the three in the East, New England, Miami, and the Jets. You'll also have Baltimore, which should be better. Steelers probably not a playoff team yet.
They're getting there. They're getting better.
They are. Cleveland should be better. I'm like, Deshaun Watson should be. His 2 years of rust should be worn off. Yeah. Second year in Cleveland, so I think he should be good. The Chargers got better. Like they added a lethal wide receiver.
Justin Herbert needs it, man.
Yeah, I'm like Justin Herbert has. Now I think they lost Eckler, I believe, which would be a big. Did they lose it? I forget they lost Eckler. I believe they did, but I'm like their wide receivers are just lethal over there. And then you have, we'll see how the Raiders do. The that they're probably not a playoff team. And then who am I missing? Denver. You don't know what Russell Wilson will do, right? And I'm not too worried, but Tennessee will probably be middle of the pack, lower part of the division.
You get the AFC that's going to be so good, and then you have the dumpster fire in the NFC South, man.
Yeah, exactly, right? I'm like, I only have Jacksonville winning that division because the rest of that division is not even close to being where Jacksonville is. But I'm like, Jacksonville's defense is going to be amazing. Like they should be really good defensively.
They look so
and offensively, they should be really good. I like T-Law. I like Travis Etienne.
I love him. T-Law.
Calvin Ridley's going to be back after his suspension. I'm like,
watch him play amazing this year if the Falcons let him go.
I know, right? Oh yeah. Did they trade him or did they just release him?
He got suspended for gambling on football, and then they traded him for like nothing to Jacksonville. They just got him for free, barely.
Yeah,
I don't even know what we got for him.
Maybe like a 6th-round draft pick or something.
He just didn't want to play in Atlanta anymore, so they got rid of him. He just didn't want to be here, so. Kind of like Julio Jones, but Julio never really did anything after he left here. He's just been kind of bouncing around teams.
No, we picked him up right after, and then he didn't really do anything after that.
Mm-mm. He's been kind of bouncing around and.
Yeah, and then he got bounced. Yeah, because where was he last year? He was
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, yeah.
I thought he might do something with Tom Brady, but he just really didn't do anything.
Just couldn't do anything. But what's the big NASCAR race tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know. I have not been. I watched the Daytona 500, and I watched a couple. I have not been following NASCAR like I should. I've been so much going on, and the thing is, I'll get in, and I'll sit down, and I'll want to watch NASCAR, and then the Braves are on, or
I know
the
there's
Hawks have been in the playoffs, and I just get so distracted. Now I will get back probably into NASCAR as we go into the good races in the summer. When we get to the Daytona and we get into those big races in the summertime. I've not been following. I know Chase Elliott was out a couple of races a while back. That's who my number one driver is. So.
He should be coming back pretty soon in the next few weeks, I think.
So I
think he was out for 8 weeks or something. Was it 6 to 8 weeks or something like that?
NASCAR needs him. He's like the star of NASCAR. NASCAR needs that. So I have not been following NASCAR like I should. Just so much going on. I mean, you got the Braves playing so well right now, and the Hawks lost. Thursday night was crazy because in the draft, the Hawks are in the middle of this game.
Yes. Oh yes.
Celtics and. The Braves are paying. You got the draft, and just so much going on. So I've not been following NASCAR like I should. So.
I believe Kyle Busch won last week.
Oh, he did.
I believe he did. He either won last week or 2 weeks ago. But I'm not keeping up with it as much as well, and I'm like. But I will. Like, usually around now, I'll probably get more into it.
My favorite race of the whole year is the Coca-Cola 600 on Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, that's a good one. I
absolutely love that race. I've been to that race several times, and it is such a fun race. It starts in the day, and then it goes into the night. And, oh, my gosh, it's so much fun. I saw Jeff Gordon at the peak of his days in the 90s race there, and they stole the radio out of his car, and Ray Abraham was his crew chief, and I saw Earnhardt race against Junior there back when Earnhardt was alive. And
that would have been amazing.
Oh, it was so awesome. I mean, that was just like the peak of NASCAR during that time, just seeing those guys drive. I saw Wally Dallenbach one time take out Dale Earnhardt in front of me, and Dale Earnhardt got out of the car and started yelling at him right in front of me. And I was like, awesome. He truly is the intimidator. He really gets out of the car and starts yelling at you. It was so awesome. And in North Carolina, back in the 90s, Jeff Gordon's more loved now, but in the 90s, everybody hated Jeff Gordon.
Everyone,
They hated him so much, and especially in North Carolina, because he just was not... He's that California boy.
I was going to say, he was Hollywood, right?
He was pretty, and the rednecks of North Carolina do not like Jeff Gordon. And they love their Earnhardt, straight Earnhardt all the way, man. And they would boo him every time he would come around that track. It was hilarious. Oh, it's so much But yeah, those are the awesome days in NASCAR right there. That was
Oh, those were. I'm like, so I got into it. I got into NASCAR like late '90s, probably. Um, really didn't watch it before that, but I'm like, Jeff Gordon got me into it. He's my all-time favorite driver, and then
Rainbow Warriors.
right, and then so then you liked, or at least for me, I kind of liked his team, right? Like, so Jimmy Johnson. So I became a big Jimmy Johnson fan, and then later on it was like Junior and Casey Kane, and just like, but Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson were always like 1-2, right?
Yeah.
All the time. And then when Jeff Gordon like announced his retirement, and I think he made it to like the last, was he the last race? Like he could have actually won the championship.
I think so. It was really close.
And I was like, oh my gosh, would that not be the best way to get out? Like, I'm not sure if any NASCAR drivers, it probably has happened, but I'm just like, has there been anyone that's won the championship in their last year when they retired? I'm like, that would be so cool to see Jeff Gordon do that. I'm like, that'd be, I love it.
He was so good. Jeff Gordon was at the peak of the 90s. I'd never seen a driver so good and win so many races. I mean, he was booed, but he was so good at that time. And Ray Everhand helped him a lot, his crew chief. You know, Ray Everhand does Fox. I mean, them two were they were the dynamic duo in NASCAR in the day. So good back in the day. I mean, Jeff Gordon he's one of the best I've seen.
Oh, definitely. All right, Zach, thanks for hopping on with me.
Thanks for coming. I had a great time tonight. I got to go get ready to watch Sith tonight.
Yeah,
I just want to stop by, hang out for a little bit.
I was gonna say I like just that's why I throw it out there. I'm just like, I don't care if you like just not show yourself or whatever. I'm just like just chat or whatever. That's
the thing. I get it this time.
That's what I like. I'm like
I got to go help in the shower. I got mud and dirt on me, and I look rough, y'all. I don't think I have the same shirt on since like 6 this morning. So y'all don't want to see me. All right, y'all. I'll see you. I'm out, David. Great time tonight.
Peace out, guys.